looking to throw and Horning over the middle. He's got him in the end zone. He's got him.
I'm so excited to go on vacation.
I know, the cave is gonna be so fun. I've got the sunscreen.
I have the suitcases.
Here are the towels. Oh, don't forget the beach chairs.
Okay, I think we have everything packed.
But wait, we have all this food and no one's here to eat it.
Yeah, I don't think I want to eat hot soup in 90-degree weather.
And we have so much pasta, but nobody's here to eat it.
We're not gonna eat all this when we're on vacation.
I know, we can donate it to the Ashland Food Pantry.
That's such a good idea.
We passed the food pantry on our way to the highway.
Let's drop our food off then.
Yeah, let's leave now. There's a sign for the food pantry.
Yeah, I think it's that way.
Come on, let's go. Most people don't think to donate before they go on vacation, but in the summer, the need is greater. Anyone who relies on school breakfast or lunch doesn't have that option during summer vacation.
In addition to food, the food pantry also takes donation of clothing, books, sports equipment, and toys.
Remember, give before you go.
Hello and welcome to Around the Clock. I'm your host, Yolanda Greaves. We are well into November. The air is changing, but we still have our great program for you regarding all the things going on here in Ashland. We, of course, will have the Selectmen update for the meeting that happened on Wednesday, November 6th, and, of course, our ever-popular Around the Town tour. We'll be stopping at the Ashland High School for a robot rodeo. We'll be going to the Warren School for a fun hoedown. And we'll be stopping at Town Hall to share with you some great Halloween tricks and treats that happen between the staff and the residents of Ashland. So stay with us as I bring you Around the Clock. Hello, it's time for the Selectmen update for the meeting that happened on Wednesday, November 6th. It started at 7 p.m. at Town Hall. The first group up was UGC, United Group of Companies, and their project Arbella, which is going to be put on Lot 2 off of the MBTA access road. We've been working with this company since January or February. They've had a number of different iterations of their project, and now the project is looking a little bit better. It's a little bit tighter to one side. They've changed the road. To see their full detail and presentation, make sure you go back and watch the full Selectmen meetings, the meeting that they presented at on the 6th. There were some residents in attendance at the meeting that gave some feedback and gave some input, and they're feeling much better about the revised plan. It'll be going before the ZBA. It's not a regular plan because it's a 40B, so it's regarding, there'll be some special housing and there'll be affordable housing as part of the project. We had two requests. We had a request for a Class 2 license. That hearing got opened and it was continued until our December 4th meeting because of some changes in some of the information. And then Ashland Ale House had a transfer of liquor license. They opened the hearing and then we actually had the hearing at 8:30 once they were able to be there. And that got approved. There, of course, was some discussion about some of the entertainment and some of the things that are going on at the Ale House, but the new owners felt like they could address some of those issues that were going on. We then had updates on our rail transit district, mostly about Lot 2 and the project with UGC, update on the public safety building where things are going with some of the wetland delineation and some of the engineering, an update on the Riverwalk project. The bridge is there. It's not quite open yet because the access to it from the Mill Pond Park still has to be fixed, but I know they're going to be looking to do some kind of ribbon cutting in the spring once the park is updated as well. Downtown project is still moving forward slowly, but it's getting there. And the Warren District, there have been the first meetings for the group that is supporting the Valentine property, and they're working with David Foster. They're going to be looking to get some RFQs or RFPs as to what could be done with the Valentine property. So if you're interested in what's going on there, make sure you check the website as to when their meetings are, and or send emails to David Foster, who's the project manager. We approved our consent agenda. We then had our old new business. Eversource, there was a discussion about hiring a consultant. I don't know that a decision has been finally made. I was not at that portion of the meeting, so if you'd like to see that full discussion, go ahead back and watch the full meeting. They did review the town meeting warrant and speaking roles. Not very big of a town warrant, about 12 articles. They did go in detail, and on the other part of the show, we're going into detail with Town Manager Mike Herbert about those articles, so you can take a look at that. Robert Hill Way project. So this is a project that's up off of Independence Lane. It's been being discussed for quite a while. EA Fish, who is doing the project, had to wait for their funding to come through. That has now happened. We as a board decided to waive $107,000 in building permit fees because of money that they've given back to the community to put in a new pump for water issues and pressure issues on Independence Lane. And we felt that this was a better return on our money by allowing them to pay for the pump and to waive these fees and some water and sewer connection fees. We had an update on EEE. We haven't had quite a hard frost yet. But most people are not seeing some mosquitoes. I actually did see one the other night, surprisingly. So still be careful when you're going outside, wear that protective clothing, and certainly with dusk coming sooner since the change of our clocks, still be aware as you're heading out with the kids and with the pets maybe. We discussed the addition of some no parking signs on Water Street. So great that the Bagel Table is doing some wonderful business, as well as the Mill Building. The residents who live on Water Street were having an issue getting in and out of their driveway. So there will now be no parking signs at the very end of Water Street, basically along the stone wall that's right in front of the Historical Society. And those will be going in within the next week or two. We then approved and voted the updated language that came back from the state legislature regarding our home rule petition for our economic development review. Those documents will be up online if you want to see the exact changes that were happening. Most of it was wordsmithing. We had to, instead of just say the word fund, we had to make it say completely economic development fund. And if it wasn't going into the general fund, it had to change letters and things like that. So a red line copy is available if you'd like to take a look at that. We then discussed the BAA grant awards. What we started doing probably about 3 years ago, instead of the whole select board sitting there reviewing all of these, we found it was much better and much more effective for a subcommittee to review these. So Steve Mitchell and Rob Scher have been that subcommittee. They have a meeting, they review all the grant applications, and they determine how much they're going to give. We gave out most of the people who submitted for this round did get funding. Some of the funds will not be given out until the spring because that's when their programs are happening. And also pretty soon, our numbers will be available. So if you're interested in running and helping raising funds for our BAA grant program, make sure you reach out to Susan Roby at Town Hall because those numbers will be available soon. We also discussed and finished up discussing a website redesign and a communication plan. We've had many people say, yeah, the website's okay, but it could be better. So we're going to be doing some research to find out what it could be improved to look like and how it could work. It was also presented by Michael Herbert that maybe we have a communications coordinator position. We have asked for a job description, potential cost for that position because it's not in our current budget, and how could that person work or be brought into the town, and who would they report to, things like that. We're doing a lot more in the community with events, and we need to get our message out, and we need to get the information out in many different ways. So by having a communications coordinator, they could potentially be that person to help reach out via Facebook, via email, via website, via different things like that. So we heard about that, and then we had an update on On our sustainability coordinator, so from the town manager. So they had a number of applicants, they interviewed 3, and hopefully we'll be hearing within the next 2 weeks that they've hired somebody. That is in our budget. It was approved with our town meeting budget in May for a sustainability coordinator, and it was discussed that that sustainability coordinator could potentially help with grant writing for some of our green initiatives that we're trying to do here in town. We then went into executive session to discuss and consider the purchase, exchange, lease of value of real property located at Lot 2 at MBTA Access Road. That'll be available once we've made some decisions and some things have come out of that. And that was the meeting for November 6th. There's no regular scheduled meeting now until December because we'll be at town meeting on November 20th. And that wraps up the meeting that happened on November 6th. Thanks for watching. Hello, welcome back to Around the Clock. It's time for our Around the Town tour. We're going to start over at the VFW for the 508 Film Festival. This is a new film festival that WACA has put together. There were 26 submissions. They started working on this back in March. They had 26 submissions in 4 categories: narrative short, documentary short, narrative medium, and documentary medium. At the event on October 25th, they showed the top 11 films, the top 2 or 3 in the 4 categories. And the narrative short was the movie was Shock Boy by Jake Pekar. The documentary short was Umbilicus Desiderio, directed by Michael J. Epstein. The narrative medium was Sirenetta's Family Dinner by Matt Bruno Richardson. And the documentary winner medium was One Wing in the Fire by Maximilian Armstrong. About 50 or so people showed up. Marconi's catered, and it was a great event. At the end of the night, they chose a community favorite, and that was Butterflies, directed by Melissa Bennett and produced by our own Allison Rose.
And the winner is Butterflies.
Congratulations, congratulations. One of the reasons I love doing something like this is we also do films, and we've done plays, and there's a lot of creative minds in here.
We are here with Devin Cool, the producer, actor, writer of Reconditioned. So Devin, that was a fantastic film. So tell me a little bit about the film and how you thought about it, how you got started doing it.
What happened for me with this film, obviously Reconditioned's an addiction recovery story, and I personally suffer from a lot of people in my family that have different addictions, but also when I moved back from the West Coast back to the East Coast, I found a lot of people that I went to school with suffering from addiction. And I had a friend similar to the character of Jack in our story. He was an auto mechanic by trade. I went to high school with him. I wasn't really close with him, really close, but similar wheelhouse. I'm a mechanic by trade. I went to trade school before being an actor. And he had passed away from an overdose, sadly. And it just made me spin my wheels, and I never actually wanted to be a writer. Prior to that, I was always interested in acting and acting only, and it just everything that was going on in the community really was hitting me in an emotional way. So I did what I knew what to do and wrote a script, and then from there, that was about 2017, and I did some Indiegogo funding, raised some capital, and hired a team of people. And for me, being it's a addiction recovery story and how the whole country is suffering from this epidemic, especially the East Coast, it seems like it's a lot of these blue-collar towns that don't have these outlets to really reach out. So for me, I kind of piled my resources of the people that I knew that I thought could, make this film the best that we could possibly make it with the capital that we had. And also, you'll see from the film, we got, Paul Guilfoyle, who plays my grandfather in the film, Brad Carter, who is from True Detective and Sons of Anarchy, who plays the garage owner. So I really kind of grabbed a hold of the resources that I had to try to make this film, and just more importantly, to touch more people. You know what I mean? Recognizable faces. You can push the film forward. So that's our hope. We're submitted to a lot of things, and 508. Thank you for taking us on.
Okay, we're here with director Max Armstrong, who did One Wing in the Fire. Congratulations on your victory there. It was a very good job. Tell me a little bit about the film and how you thought about it, and what made you think of doing this and entering into the 508.
So I hiked that AT in 2018, last summer. So I thru-hiked the whole thing from Maine to Georgia, and I met Rob and stayed with him for a week. So I was one of the hikers that got to stay with him and was the recipient of his benevolence. And so I was looking for a documentary subject, and I thought of Rob and thought he was just a fascinating character. So I asked him if I could make this film, and he let me do it.
So how'd you find out about the 508?
I was looking on Film Freeway, and I was researching festivals, and this one was relevant because it was local to where I shot the film. Yeah.
What's your next project? Do you want to look at anything right now, or is you're kind of living on the heels of this wonderful project?
Yeah, just right now, taking this one to different festivals and just looking for the next one, the next subject. So probably I think looking for the next adventure first, and then from the next adventure, hopefully a new story will emerge.
I'm here with the legend Bob Thacker here. He is the voice of the Ashland Clockers. I want to thank you so much for being here, Bob, and enjoy it. What do you think of tonight's event, the 508 Festival?
I've been looking forward to this. This is our second festival. We had one about 10 years ago, and it was absolutely fabulous. So I was so glad Allison organized this one, and it's great. We saw our 5 films already, and the quality has been tremendous. I really enjoyed it, and we got a lot more left to go.
It is wonderful to have this kind of creativity being displayed here in Ashland. Love the town of Ashland. I love being here. The fact that the Marconi's is actually hosting tonight, and the food, and we want to talk about the food you have here. Can you give me a little bit of a background of what do you think of the food tonight?
Well, you know, I started going to Marconi's, the restaurant, before I even lived in this area. My family would drive from Dedham, you know, a half an hour away on a Sunday afternoon to eat at Marconi's, a restaurant that my father found when he was working and traveling. And so when we came to Framingham in 1962, 1,000 years ago, it was a dream come true.
Yeah.
And in my professional life, every Tuesday and Friday for lunch.
Wow.
We had our own booth. We had our own waitress, the late, great Mary Beisch. We had our own bartender,
Awesome.
Dick, who married Mary. And, of course, Linda Rovinelli, you know, she was the daughter of the owner, Marco himself.
Yep.
And her
Now, the
husband,
wonderful
Bruce.
thing, and the wonderful thing about this is that they're bringing the wonderful food that they had there back here in
Legendary.
Ashland, and we want to make this a Friday night event. Every Friday night we want to have a creative theater night, whether it's a play, a movie, comedy, a musical band, just a place to go on a Friday night in Ashland.
It's a good location. They got a stage. You know, it's a nice room. You got a stage,
Yep.
you got a bar,
Yep.
and you got a kitchen.
And you got wonderful entertainment and great people to interact
So it's a great
with.
venue, plenty of parking.
Yep.
It's a good venue. I've been here 1,000,000 times
Yep.
since my kids were little leaguers. You know, we always had banquets here.
And we want you to come back. Well, I don't want to interrupt any more of your meal, but Bob, thank you so much for taking the time out of expressing what you think about tonight and the wonderful food, and hope you enjoyed the rest of the night.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, sir.
So hopefully you got to see them. If not, we will try to share some of them with you moving forward. And maybe you'll think about submitting your own films, because I expect this is going to be an annual event. From the VFW, we are going to move over to Town Hall. So we were able to share with you our annual Halloween parade that happens for the kids. Well, this time our Town Hall staff got involved, and the night before Halloween, Wednesday night, October 30th, which is a night that our staff is typically there late at Town Hall till 7 o'clock, they opened the Town Hall to our younger residents, and they were sharing and doing some fun trick-or-treating and events. Let's go take a look at some of the fun that was had at Town Hall. Well, congratulations, staff at Town Hall, for getting in the mood and for sharing and helping our youngest residents enjoy a fun holiday like Halloween. From Town Hall, we are going to go to the Ashland High School. This was the Robot Rodeo. It's put on by the Robotics Club at the Ashland High School. It allows children and parents to see what it means to make robots. There was also some Legos there and some other fun for all to participate in. Let's go check out some of the fun that was had at the high school.
We're learning about robots, engineering, so provide.
I believe the Robotics Club takes some of the funds that are raised for the Robotic Rodeo, and they use that as they go and compete. So hopefully we'll be able to share some stories about their competitions that they have in the spring. From our Robot Rodeo at the high school, we're going to head over to the Warren School. The Warren School has what they call the Hoedown. Now, it's for first graders, and this is a program that's been going on for quite a while. I remember my daughters getting to do this. It's been a really long-standing tradition at the elementary school. This year, some of the classes that participated were Miss Elbaum's and Miss Mulvey's, as well as Mrs. Colton's and Miss Sester's, and then Mrs. Tripp and Mrs. Wilkinson's class. They all got to sing some fun songs, the funny Scarecrow song. I don't know if there were any jokes told this year, but I know there have been jokes told before. The classes of Mrs. Kriegsman and Mrs. Temple, and also Mrs. Davidson and Miss Pinto. If you've never seen, hopefully you'll enjoy the footage here. Hopefully your child, if they're in first grade, enjoyed it. Well, that wraps up our Around the Town tour. I hope you have fun looking for those scarecrows, and we hope to be sharing more with you in the future. Thanks for watching Around the Town.
Looking to throw and Horning over the middle. He's got him in the end zone. He's got him.
I'm so excited to go on vacation.
I know, the cave is gonna be so fun. I've got the sunscreen.
I have the suitcases.
Here are the towels. Oh, don't forget the beach chairs.
Okay, I think we have everything packed.
But wait, we have all this food and no one's here to eat it.
Yeah, I don't think I want to eat hot soup in 90-degree weather.
And we have so much pasta, but nobody's here to eat it.
We're not gonna eat all this when we're on vacation.
I know, we can donate it to the Ashland Food Pantry.
That's such a good idea.
We passed the food pantry on our way to the highway.
Let's drop our food off then.
Yeah, let's leave now. There's a sign for the food pantry.
Yeah, I think it's that way.
Come on, let's go. Most people don't think to donate before they go on vacation, but in the summer, the need is greater. Anyone who relies on school breakfast or lunch doesn't have that option during summer vacation.
In addition to food, the food pantry also takes donation of clothing, books, sports equipment, and toys.
Remember, give before you go.
Hi, we're Girl Scout Troop 72395, and we're here to talk to you about bucket filling and what it means to be a bucket filler.
The book, Have You Filled a Bucket Today by Kara McLeod, was written to teach young children how to be bucket fillers.
Everyone in the whole wide world carries around an invisible bucket. You have a bucket, she has a bucket, and everyone in your family has one, as well as your friends and neighbors.
The purpose of the bucket is to hold your good thoughts and good feelings about yourself in it. When your bucket is full, you feel very happy, but when your bucket is empty, you feel very lonely and sad.
It's great to have a full bucket, and here's an example of how it works.
Hey, I like your sweatshirt.
Thanks. Have a nice day.
You too.
When you're friendly and polite and compliment someone, you fill their bucket. Helping someone and making them feel special also fills buckets too.
Here you go.
Thank you so much for helping me.
You're welcome.
A bucket filler is a loving and caring person who says or does nice things that make others feel special.
But sometimes you can say or do mean things, and when that happens, you're being a bucket dipper. A bucket dipper is also known as a bully.
When you dip into someone else's bucket by hurting his or her feelings, you're also emptying your own bucket. You can't fill your bucket by emptying someone else's.
Hey, watch where you're going.
Sorry.
But guess what? When you fill someone else's bucket, you fill your own bucket too.
You feel good when you help others feel good.
Sorry that I was rude at you earlier. I was having a bad day.
It's okay. I understand. I get garbage sometimes too. You know another great way to fill a bucket? No, how? Say you're on the playground and you see someone sitting alone on a bench. Walk over to them and say, "Hi, want to play?" I bet they'll say yes with a huge smile that will make you both feel really happy.
Hey, that sounds like the buddy bench.
Yeah, they had one of those in my old school. That was so cool.
So by sitting on the buddy bench, people will know that I want to play with them, even if I'm too shy to ask? Yeah. And the buddy bench can give you the courage to go ask other kids if you can join their game.
Bucket filling is fun and easy to do, and it doesn't matter how young or old you are.
It doesn't cost any money or take much time.
When you're a bucket filler, you make your school, home, and neighborhood better places to be.
Try to fill a bucket and see what happens.
Earth Day 1990 has come and gone, but not the commitment to protect and clean up our environment. Here in Ashland, several volunteers got together 4 years ago to start a recycling center. The Ashland Recycling Center is making a big difference for the town. Not only does it make financial sense, but at the same time, it's reducing the amount of waste that is filling up our landfills. The center recycles white paper, cardboard, magazines, newspapers, all types of glass, plastic, tin, and aluminum. It is staffed entirely by volunteers, but more are needed. It's great to know that even a little donated time can make such a difference. If you'd like to start a recycling center in your town, you can do it. Let's keep that Earth Day tradition alive.